and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment.
Ensure that students are learning and getting their money's worth. That's a rich choice of words right there. Former President Donald Trump attended Fordham University in New York City, but later transferred to the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. Mary Trump, Donald's niece, claims that her uncle paid a friend to take the SAT test for him because he was, quote, worried that his grade point average, which put him far from the top of his class, would scuttle his efforts to get accepted. He hired a smart kid with a reputation for being a good test taker to take the SATs for him, she wrote, adding, Donald, who never lacked for funds, paid his buddy well. Now, as for the explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity thing, well, you get what you pay for. Fox Nation produced this segment about the right-wing advocacy group Students for Fair Admissions, featuring John Wang, an 18-year-old student out of Florida who scored a 1590 out of 1600 on the SAT with a perfect score on the math section, combined with a 4.65 high school GPA. It's important to note that this story doesn't include extracurricular activities. Wonder what that's about. Anyways, Wang got rejected by 6 elite universities. So, host Laura Ingraham, pretending like race was to blame, asked, what's an Asian applicant to do? You go to the next highest preferred school that you applied to and has accepted you just like millions of other students around the country do every year. This kid admitted that he wasn't even valedictorian at his school and is claiming that affirmative action, which benefits white people and Asian people alike, is the reason why he wasn't admitted to the school of his choosing. However, looking at the last 2 colleges he listed specifically, UC Berkeley doesn't even use affirmative action in college admissions due to Prop 209. As for Harvard, an analysis of Harvard data that was published in 2019 by the National Bureau of Economic Research showed that 43% of white students admitted to Harvard between 2009 to 2014 were either recruited athletes, legacies, applicants on the dean's interest list, those connected to donors, and children of faculty and staff, categories that are considered favorably in admissions. The study also revealed, more shockingly, that 75% of the students who were admitted under one of these privileged categories would have been rejected had they not been given those bonus points. Legacies, donors, and children of staff took his spot. Not a lot of black people are doing this. Looking at racial demographics data from some of these colleges and universities, there aren't enough black people to go around for this student to even encounter people who he thinks stole his spot. If academic standing and test scores were the only things being considered in college admissions, he would have a better case. But what's strategically and conveniently missing in discussions like this is holistic review. Quote, academic factors represent only one dimension of qualification and, therefore, of the ultimate decision to admit. For example, considering the context in which the achievement took place is also important, as are personal qualities such as creativity, determination, teamwork, intercultural competence, and ethical behavior. Furthermore, there are almost as many different approaches to selection as there are institutions. Institutions routinely adapt a holistic review to make it their own, as a natural extension of their institutional mission and a tool to achieve the institution's educational and societal goals. So the argument goes, affirmative action is being used to discriminate against Asians, while Edward Bloom is using Asians because he has an axe to grind. Fox is using this story to propagate the model minority myth against black people, and Trump will use this to, quote, reclaim our colleges and universities. With all of that being said, according to PBS NewsHour, prior to the 2016 presidential election, Donald Trump directed his personal attorney at the time to threaten legal action against the colleges and high school he attended if they publicly released his grades or standardized test scores. That was according to his former attorney, Michael Cohen. Again, you get what you pay for. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has a new boyfriend, and good for her. We all need to be loved and respected, including people who dress in drag, like MTG's new boyfriend. The link to that video is in the description below. My content can be found by clicking the Jeff Wiggins hashtag or visiting my YouTube channel called We Gonna Be Alright. And if you didn't know, my architect knows Japanese.